segment here, our last little talk. We're going to talk about the Titanic. That's a fun one. It's a fun one that I recently discovered, and it's one of the ones that it almost seems like there's more proof to it than disproof. So I believe it. I believe it. Would love to talk about Devil's Rock. Let me Google that. Find out what that is. Go. Devils. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So here's the theory, and this has kind of been shot down and debunked as fake. But as I get deeper, I don't know, because here's the thing. These are formations in like Montana and Midwest, places like that. And it's not just one. It's not just Devil's Rock. It's multiple. And the theory is, and when you look at it, it makes a lot of sense. The theory is that this giant plateau, Devil's Rock, in Wyoming, is actually the base of a giant tree. A giant, humongous tree. But the question is, if this is a tree, if this is a giant tree, how big is the chainsaw that cut this piece down? That's where we go. And now we've talked about Nephilim. We've talked about giants. But even the Nephilim and the giants ain't that big to cut this giant tree down. And now it's quickly debunked by scientists who say they've studied it. It's just rock. It's just rock. But what is rock? A lot of rock is petrified wood. So who's to say, yep, all over the world, who's to say that this isn't just a really ancient petrified tree stump that got cut down? And then we could go farther. We could say if there are a bunch of these giant, humongous trees around the globe, a bunch of these trees around the globe, a bunch of them, and they're all growing out, and they're huge trees, well, you would have a canopy that would encompass the entire globe. A giant canopy, almost like a firmament. And then if these trees were to be chopped down, it would be like the firmament is breaking. If those trees have a lot of water in their Tartaria, is that what it's called, Raymond? Oh, Tartaria. The giant tree world. So when the firmament breaks, these tree leaves are going to have a lot of water in them. And debunked by who? Debunked by fact checkers on Facebook, which doesn't tell me much of anything. Well, no wonder you're a teacher next time you cook that bacon. So, I mean, this could explain the firmament breaking in the flood. Maybe once the trees fell, then the water up in the canopy of the trees came down, and now we have the flood. Interesting. My question is, what could cut down such an enormous tree with such a perfect cut? I mean, they must have had a steel, 800 billion horsepower steel, or a dang Husqvarna to cut down that tree. But that's wild. It's a fun one to think about. Definitely fun one to think about. Like, look at that. It looks like a tree stump. It looks too perfect. It even looks like the roots are coming out. You got little trees growing up from it. Definitely an interesting one. But let's jump over to Titanic. So, to start us off, for a little preface, Titanic had two sister ships, the Britannic and the Olympic. Basically, all of them are sunk. All three are sunk. Regardless of whether you believe this conspiracy theory that I'm going to throw at you, regardless of whether you believe it or not, we can agree there were three ships, the Olympic, the Britannic, and the Titanic, and they're all sunk. Okay? Agreed. So let's take the Britannic out of the equation because that sunk much later. Let's look at the Olympic and the Titanic. Little sister to the Titanic, the RMS Olympic was launched on October 20th, 1911, was captained by Edward J. Smith, the same captain of the Titanic, the same man who captained the Titanic on the night of the sinking. Her maiden voyage took place on June 14th and made a trip from Southampton, New York, successfully. Like the Titanic, the Olympic also had problems while sailing. It had a drift to it, and they actually crashed it into another ship. James Smith crashed the Olympic into another ship. The ship had a list, so it drifted to the side. And the Olympic was the cheaper of the two ships. The Titanic was more expensive. The Titanic was the luxury version. Same ship. The Titanic was slightly longer, they said. The deck was like 20 feet longer, more decorative things on it, more of a luxury version, right? So the Olympic isn't sailing right, and it crashes, and it's just a problem. It's losing money for the company that runs all this. And also, the Olympic is not insured. Titanic is insured. Titanic has a huge insurance policy. So now we get to the conspiracy theory. Her on the stern of your ship, you're an idiot. don't ever challenge God with a dang boat. Is you crazy? I bet you Noah wouldn't write, "We defy God to sink her." So see, even the pictures, the videos, the things you see that you think are Titanic are actually the Olympic. And remember, the Olympic does not have an insurance policy. Titanic does have an insurance policy. Olympic is damaged. Olympic is losing money. Olympic is a crap ship. We've got the good ship, the Titanic, with the insurance policy. What do we do? Have to remember is they're not going to make profit off of this, okay? It's not for profit. It's simply to reduce the damages. So the idea is, since the Titanic is insured and the Olympic is not, they disguise the Olympic to look like the Titanic. And on the maiden voyage of the Titanic, the Olympic actually goes out, and then they hit an iceberg and it sinks. And they're supposed to get rescued by a nearby ship. So then the insurance company thinks, well, Titanic just sank, so we're going to pay them out on this insurance policy. Now, they did sink a ship. They did lose all the money from the Olympic. They're going to get back insurance money from the Titanic. So they make up some of their losses. They're still losing money. The whole company was running in the red. The whole company was a sham, and they were losing money. It wasn't a good venture, but a lot of rich and famous people wanted to sail across the ocean in a boat. So that's basically, they made some money off of that. And the idea is they sank the Titanic. They sank the Olympic, which was already a damaged ship, disguised as the Titanic. And then the Titanic, they changed to the Olympic, and the Olympic continued to sail for years after, until it sank. If that's true, it's scummy, but smart as hell. Yeah, well, these people are rich. They didn't get rich by being dumb. That's like something I often say, that they may be evil, they may be wicked, they may be slimy, but they're not dumb. They didn't get there from being dumb, and they didn't get there from not working. So they know how to put a plan together, organize it. They don't mind doing some work to get it done. So
being scrapped in 9.
That's another fun conspiracy theory, that the lottery is fake. The lottery is just a giant cash grab scheme, and that, I mean, it's real that you're buying ticket, like scratch offs are real, but like the Mega Million and the balls and the numbers and all that stuff, the theory is that that's all a total scam, and that everybody you've ever seen win that is actually a fake, is an actor. But I have met some people who say they knew somebody who won the lottery, but I don't know if they're telling stories. I don't know anybody who's ever won the lottery. Does any of you know anybody who's ever won the lottery? So, just a thought. Anyway, so that's the Titanic insurance scam theory. And when I heard that, I was like, what? No way. No way. So, Titanic, the shocking truth, and there's been documentaries done about this. Everyone loves a good conspiracy theory. There are conspiracy theories that exist for everything. One of the most interesting conspiracies involves the RMS Titanic and her sister ship, the Olympic. Sank, but was switched for a sister ship, the Olympic. The reason for so they just go through in this article all the stuff that we just heard in that video. The plan went wrong. The White Star Line ended up not getting any insurance payout because everybody just died. You know, that ship didn't come and pick them up like it was supposed to. And there are also stories from people who worked on the ships, and they had to be silenced. I don't know if they got paid or what, Movie director James Cameron is obsessed with Titanic. Yep. I know someone who knows someone who won it. I've met them. You know someone who knows someone who won the lottery. You've met them. Okay. Was it a big hit on a scratch off, or I don't know. I don't know, Dean. Maybe they're a reptile. Maybe they're a bot. Maybe they're not a real person. I don't know. It's just a theory. I don't know if I believe it. My one buddy's parents hit the big money years back. Okay, so assuming the lottery is not a scam, there are some dumb people who are rich. James Cameron is going to raise the bar. Anything that's a big deal is the news is just hiding something they're doing behind the scenes. Yep. But um, they have stories from people who were working on the ship that said that they were moving. They had to change the life rafts from one ship to the other. The reason they had to do that is because the life rafts looked decoratively different. Um, there were stories of just different stories from these guys, and then these guys disappeared. But one of the weird things is, so they examined the lettering on the ship, and it's so hard to see any of them. You really can't make out the letters. Here it says thin windows, unevenly spaced. So they're saying that these windows are not properly spaced for the Titanic. They probably resemble the Olympic. And then here we have people. These are markings on the ship, and people have traced it. So here it is without. How can I zoom in on this? So here it is traced, and here it is not traced. You see the M and the P? Well, there's no M or P in the word Titanic. You know where there is an M and a P? In the word Olympic. Dun dun dun. First novel I ever read was Titanic at about 7. Nice. Not scratch off. I knew someone who won thousands of dollars off scratch. Never met someone who won million for life type stuff. David Ick. David Ick? What is that? What's David Ick mean? Flat Sabbath. The portholes are proof. Do we have any pictures of the portholes? Yeah, so there's just a lot of fishy stuff, you know. We can never know for 100% sure, but I believe it. I definitely believe it, you know. There's all sorts of the Titanic didn't sink, its sister the Olympic did. So here they're disproving it. But see, in this one, I see they trace out the letters, but when I look down here, I don't see what they're tracing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see any markings at all that resemble whatever they're tracing. Whereas with the M and the P, I see it plain as day. This, I see them tracing stuff. Okay, I guess I see what could be an I here. I guess I kind of see the T there. And this is supposed to be an A. You know, I'm not seeing it. I see the MP though, for sure. So who knows? Who knows? And they could have easily just painted, but they said that since it was docked, it was too low to change the title on the hole. So you can't see the hole when it's sitting in the ocean, or you can't see the name on the hole because it's below the waterline. So they couldn't change that, is what they're saying, and that's why it says Olympic. My buddy's parents hit the big money years back. Poor Leo won that ticket for nothing. What the heck? The M and P were pretty clear. Yep, I agree, D. Malkin. Damn it. All right. But yeah, that's it for my Titanic theory. Do I got anything else? 3:35. We can just hang out for a little while. Maybe. Let me open up Discord, see if anybody else is called. Hey guys, thank you for checking out this clip from the Dreaded Conservative Show every Monday night, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. If you guys like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Hit the bell so you know whenever I go live, not just for the Dreaded Conservative Show, but for all the game streams and UFC streams and other fun stuff that we do throughout the week. And make sure you comment and share this video with a friend. But until next time, I got a video, I got a playlist. You guys can check those out, but I'm out. Peace.